Hi guys! Oh my god, even after a couple of days I still can't get over this amazing episode 36. I mean, how amazing was that? So first we have the JJ and Ayhan storyline. Finally JJ confesses his situation and his feelings to Ayhan and the real reason why there was a suit and a gown in his apartment. And I really felt bad for Ayhan because she was so excited for everything and now she got so disappointed and she doesn't trust JJ anymore. And then when she went out of his apartment almost crying, he looked so sad, like you could really see JJ's feelings for her. And then because Ayhan wasn't talking to him anymore, he bought a new phone and then tried to conceal his voice with a piece of cloth and was talking to her, asking for advice, and his name was Yusuf. And it was so hilarious because every time he tried to talk to her in peace, there were always people coming in. It was so funny when he got angry with them after that because he tried not to give away his name. And there were times, especially the one time when he was in the meeting room doing breathing exercises, and then Daran, Güliz and the whole team came to the meeting room and Güliz was like JJ, and I was so scared that Ayhan actually heard his name. He always hung up in the right moment, but then when he was at home, Muzo comes and he's like, JJ, my friend. Oh my god. And then Ayhan hears it and I'm like, oh my god, now he's screwed, like this is bad. He gets so angry with Muzo after hanging up with Ayhan, saying, JJ, I don't know any JJ or something like that. And then JJ is like, Muzo, give me the keys. And Muzo is like, no, I won't give you this key, I would rather swallow it. And then JJ is like, well then swallow it. And Muzo actually swallows the key. Oh my god, I was like, no, why are you doing this? Then the next day he tries talking to Ayhan. He's waiting for her in front of her shop and she's very dismissive, very like, no, I don't want to talk to you. And then he slips and then she kind of puts two and two together and she got so angry. And then his escape was amazing. He's looking at his watch and is like, oh, I have to get to the agency, it's quite late. And then when he gets to the agency, he's all sad and Dagan is like, JJ, you're late. And then he's so sad and she gets so worried and they hug. If you would have told me like 10 episodes ago that Dagan would hug JJ, I would be like, no way, this is not going to happen. Anyways, he just tells her everything about Ayhan, why he's so sad and that nobody loves him, blah blah blah, and she motivates him. And then Sanem calls, asks him if he can come down because she wants to have him look over her present for Can. But I will get to that later. And Dagan and Güliz also want to go because they're so excited for this present. Anyways, fast forward to the birthday party. JJ and Ayhan are also there. JJ is so stressed and just walking up and down, and Ayhan comes and he tries to explain his situation, trying to apologize, and Ayhan is having none of it and just kisses him. And I was like, oh my god, they made up. I don't know, did we actually get a real kiss from JJ and Ayhan? I don't think so. But there were times where I said that we didn't get a couple of things and then people in the comments were like, no, you forgot this in this moment. And I was like, oh my god, yes, you're right. So if we really got a kiss between JJ and Ayhan, please let me know in the comments. Let's move on to the Leila and Emre storyline. So Leila is desperately trying to tell Mefkebe that she broke up with Osman and that there is no wedding happening. But every time she tries to talk to her and tell her the truth, Osman comes. The first time is right when they were having breakfast. Sanem actually wants to tell Mefkebe that she and Can want to marry because that night where we left off in episode 35 was where Sanem proposed to Can. They were all excited and Can's answer was to kiss her, and then he's like, okay, let's get married. He was so happy, both of them were happy, and I thought it was so funny. Then Sanem was like, well, I'll do it like in the romantic movies and put her foot up. And then when she came home, she told Leila that she and Can want to marry. She got all excited, which I already talked in my previous Emre's review, and also Leila confesses to Sanem that she and Osman broke up, and Sanem was like, of course it wouldn't work out because you're still in love with Emre, and Leila is like, nah, I don't think so. Anyways, that morning they try to tell Nihat and Mevkebe their situation, so Sanem that she wants to marry Can, and Leila that she broke up with Osman. But because of Mevkebe's situation, they can't do it because Mevkebe actually had a nightmare about being rich and then going to Mama David's or John's house and having, I don't know, a couple of butlers behind her and saying to Mama David, well, you're my servant now, this is my house, and call me Mevkebe Sultana. And then she was actually talking in her sleep. Nihat was worried. Then we got to see the dream, and then she actually woke up because she was strangling Nihat in her sleep. So because of that dream, she was so all over the place, so Leila and Sanem couldn't tell her anything. Then as soon as Leila gets out, Osman comes as well, and they talk that they couldn't tell anyone their situation. And then Ayhan actually comes crying from JJ, and Osman is all worried. And then Ayhan says, why are there people that love so much and don't get the same amount of love in return or something like that? And Osman kept looking at Leila like, this happened to us. And I felt bad for Osman and for Leila that she was in that situation, but at the same time, dude, you saw that she was in love with Emre. But anyways, I really love that brother-sister bond that Ayhan and Osman had. Then the second time she tried to tell Mevkebe was when Osman was also there and he was helping Mevkebe with the yarn. She got all frustrated and angry. How did Osman end up in their house? He said that Mevkebe came and started talking about the wedding, blah blah blah, and somehow he ended up here with the yarn in his hand. That's another failed moment. The third time was the next day, but then Ayhan and Osman actually come from a different street, and Osman is like signing to Leila, what did she do? And Leila just shakes her head. So once again, she couldn't tell Mevkebe. I think that's all the moments she tried to tell Mevkebe about her breakup. So now moving more towards Emre. So we get to see Melis showing Emre what she did, blah blah blah, and he's like, well, good job, and just wants to get her out kind of, but she's like, well, I got 2 concert tickets and my friend bailed on me, so I was thinking, why not bring you along? And he's like, no, I don't think so because I have other plans. And she's like, oh my god, please don't embarrass me, please, I mean, you gave me this job, and just anyways, he's like, okay, I can't promise anything, but if my schedule changes, I will come. Leila comes and wants to check up on Melis, how she's doing at work, and Emre is like, okay, Melis, go and take your laptop. And Emre is like, well, sit down. And I've never seen Leila so happy and excited kind of, because she wanted to tell Emre that she broke up with Osman, and he said that he sees her very happy, and she's like, yes, I'm very happy because I made a big decision in my life. And then as soon as Leila wants to tell him that, Melis comes and is like, hello, look, Emre Bey, these are the tickets and blah blah blah. And I'm like, ugh. So Leila is kind of rowing back, taking everything back, bringing up Osman, that she knows about the band and that Osman also bought tickets but she can't go or something like that. And Emre is actually trying to tell her that he won't go either, but she just stands up and is like, come on Melis, we have work to do. So I was like, Melis, you ruined this moment. Then there is this moment in the meeting room where Emre is kind of making Leila jealous because once again Leila brings up Osman, and I'm like, why? So after that, Leila's in her office and Emre actually comes all desperate and is like, Leila, there's nothing between me and Melis, and that I just did all those things to make you jealous. I'll apologize for everything I've done, I'm really sorry, and just storms off. And I'm like, oh god, Emre. Leila is very happy because there's nothing between him and Melis, and that he only did this to make her jealous. So she's kind of happy that he still has feelings for her. And then at the party we get a little Layam moment. Emre is like, well, I've seen you're not here with Osman, and she's like, well, I'm not here with Osman because I'm not with Osman anymore. And then he gets all happy and excited, and they kind of hide it because Nihat and Mevkebe still don't don't know about this thing. So yeah, I think they're starting a secret relationship. So I'm really excited to see more of Leila and Emre together. Then we also have this little moment between Muzo and Güliz where he's kind of proposing a relationship to her and she gets all stressed and panicky. And he's like, don't worry about it, just think about it and let me know. And she's like, yes, I have to think about it. So I don't know what to think anymore. Like last episode, Güliz was like on cloud 9, all happy and romantic whenever she saw him, and this time she's like kind of panicky when he talks about a relationship or some possibilities between them. And I'm like, Güliz, please decide what you want. Anyways, let's get to the amazing Canem storyline. So as I already mentioned, they decided to get married. They're all happy and excited. Canem tries to tell Mevkibe, but she can't. The same goes to Can. Actually, when he comes home, he tells Emre the news and Emre is all happy for him. But it's like, when they talk to mother about this, just be calm, be nice, just don't get angry with her. And he's like, okay, don't worry, I will be calm. The next morning, Emre once again tells him to be calm when he's talking to her. He's like, don't worry, I'm all calm. And then as soon as he hears Mama David coming and turns around, she has a neck brace on, and I'm like, because the night before she had also a nightmare, but her nightmare was, as I predicted, her being in the neighborhood and watching this carpet and Mevkibe making fun of her. So basically her being poor, and I still don't know where she got that neck brace from. Anyways, Can and Emre are kind of shocked, not really shocked, but like, what happened to you? And then Emre is signing to Can like, just keep in mind she has a neck brace on, just leave it. And that's what Can does. It's like, okay, just rest, and when you feel better we'll have a talk. And then when he hugs Mama David, he signs to Emre that he should go, and Emre is like, okay, I'll go. And they both go, and Mama David is turned with her back to the house and starts talking like, how can someone blame me for everything, blah blah blah. And then when she turns around, there's no one there, and she's like, just like your father. It was so funny. And then she calls Polen, and I'm like, oh god, Hulen meeting is on the way. Polen comes, Mama David is walking up and down and being all like, how can Can not listen to me? And then Polen is like, well, maybe he needs to hear it from other people that are close to him. And then Mama David comes up with that idea to have a birthday party for Can with all his friends that are more in the higher class. And then miraculously Mama David is healed. She doesn't need a neck brace anymore, and I'm like, woman. Then we get to see Canem actually seeing Polen's book. She's all like, how can she do that, blah blah blah, it doesn't look good. Goes up to the agency, and Polen is standing everywhere, and she's like, she doesn't look like that, this is all Photoshop. And then she walks with one Polen cardboard cutout, then two Polens actually come towards her, and she's all scared. And they are actually Güliz and JJ, and they're just really frustrated with the task they got from Polen. And they tell Canem that there's also a Can cardboard cut out, and I think before that Canem's to JJ like, what are you looking at? And JJ is like, what should I do? Should I look? Should I walk around with my eyes closed and just smash my head up? It was so funny, I really love that. And then Canem walks up to cardboard cut out Can, and Can is actually standing like in the back watching her, and she's talking to him like how good he looks. Gigi takes pictures of them, and then she goes to his office, and as soon as she enters, Can is like, all I wanted in my life is a woman to drag me around, and I got her, or something like that. It was so funny. And then they talk about their situation, if they could talk to their mothers. And then Canem brings up Can's birthday, and he's like, no, I don't want to celebrate it, blah blah blah. And she's like, no, how could you, because you're special to me, I really want to celebrate it. And then they look at each other and they kiss. Oh my god, like, this was such an amazing kiss. Like, loved it so much. And then the moment after, when they're staring at each other, oh my god. Anyways, Sanem then goes out of his office, takes cardboard cutout Can with her, talks to him. Yeet and Polen actually see her, and Sanem is making digs at Polen. It was so funny. And then Polen is like, today at the launch I want to give Can my cookbook to be the first one to give him a present for his birthday. And I'm like, a cookbook? Like, I had the same reaction as did Sanem and Leila. Anyways, that's the moment where Sanem comes up with her present, kind of, because that night she starts a scrapbook where she talks about their love and their memories together. It was so adorable. But before she did that scrapbook, it was actually Polen's cookbook launch, and Mama David, as always, doing her thing. She walks past the reporter. She's like, yes, I'm here at the cookbook launch of Can's ex-girlfriend and blah blah blah. The reporter picks up on that and asks Polen how was it to work with your ex-boyfriend, and Can is actually standing next to Sanem the whole time, not interested. Sanem is very bored. He's playing with her necklace, and then as soon as he hears them talking about their past relationship, he gets all angry and is like, what are we talking about? Like, this is all professional. But the funny thing was, the camera turns towards him. Sanem is like signing, what are you doing? I don't want to be filmed, kind of. And Can is still holding on to Sanem's necklace, where I was like, okay. Anyways, after that, Mama David comes up with another idea, goes again up to the reporter and is like, well, I think you should take a picture of Can and Polen. Of course, she does that. He's not very thrilled to do that. Keeps looking at Sanem, and then he brings Sanem to the stage and says she's the editor. And then I think the reporter is like, well, we know you from the previous news we did on you, blah blah blah. And he's like, well, I don't talk about my private life too much, but yes, she's my girlfriend. And everyone is shocked. And then Polen brings Yi to the stage, kind of not to feel that alone next to Canem. Then Polen gives Can her cookbook. So after that evening, Mama David comes to Can and gives him a picture of when he was a baby. He's never seen that picture, and she's like, well, that's the only thing I got from you. And that was such a sweet moment and such a human Mama David, kind of. And I was like, woman, be like that. It was such a nice mother-son moment. I really liked it. So yeah, the next day, as I already said, Sanem calls JJ to come down. Deren and Gülis also come down. She shows them her scrapbook, and she's like, well, this is the first chocolate that me and Can ate. And JJ is like, rip it out because it's all full of bacteria. It was so funny. But I really like their little group because everyone kind of brought something. Deren brought Can's favorite pen that Sanem could write with. Emre also came with baby pictures. And then Can is upstairs looking for everyone, and there's one employee saying, well, they're all downstairs with Sanem. And he's like, well, what are they doing there? And at the same time, Emre comes up and is like, what are you doing? Can, you have work to do. And Can is like, well, I can't do my work without them here. And then he goes down. Emre calls Sanem. Sanem gets all panicky, puts her things together, hides it from Can. And then Can gets all angry with Deren, JJ and Gülis because why are they downstairs? Anyways, Sanem tries to work on her scrapbook, hides in Yeet's office. He comes, she shows him her scrapbook, her idea, and Yeet is like, I would really appreciate it if my girlfriend would do it. It's a very nice present. And I really thought it was such a nice moment. And then she's like, I can't imagine being with anyone else than with Can. And he seemed really sad and I felt bad for him, but at the same time, dude, you're too late. So then he comes up with that idea to put everything in a chronological order and to make it into a book, and he has connections, blah blah blah, and she's all excited for that. And I really thought it's a nice gesture of him to help her out with that. Anyways, they go out, they want to go to the printer or somewhere, and Can is actually coming and wanting to pick Sanem up to go to lunch with her. But then there's this back and forth between Sanem and Yi trying to figure out how to deceive Can so he would wouldn't pick up on the plan they have. Can gets very frustrated and is actually waiting for Sanem to come back, and then Yi comes and is like, which pizza should I order, or something like that. I'm like, oh my god, no, why did you say that? And then Sanem tries to get out of this situation, but Can gets more and more angry, and then Yi pushes Jan's buttons and makes digs at him, and I'm like, but at the same time, I like it. So then Mama David actually called Sanem, because before that, Pauline called Yi, told him that after John's birthday, she will go back to London, and he's like, don't plan anything because Sanem wants to celebrate with John. Just the two of them. In that moment, a Hule meeting is happening, and then Mama David is like, well, we'll see which plan will work out, Sanem's or mine. I'm like, oh, woman, why? Why? Anyways, Mama David calls Sanem and is like, well, I really want to plan this birthday party for him, and I hope you didn't plan anything because I was trying to be by his side for the first time because I didn't have the chance, blah blah blah. And it was a nice conversation kind of, but knowing the backstory and her intentions made it like and even Sanem was kind of skeptical. So anyways, Can walks out really angry, goes to his office, vents to Emre, and Emre is all calm, and then like, you don't see it, do you? And Can is like, what should I see? And then Emre closes the door and is like, don't you dare tell Sanem that you know it from me, because I don't want to ruin the relationship that I have with her. It was so adorable. And then he actually tells everything that Sanem has planned, and then we get the preview where Can is confronting Sanem. Oh, what I forgot to say is that while Mama David talked to Sanem on the phone, she's like, well, I want to invite your family as well to apologize, blah blah blah. Sanem is like, I don't know if they will come, and Mama David is like, just leave it to me. So she actually goes to Sanem's neighborhood. As soon as she enters the shop, Nihat goes next to the shop window and tries to listen to their conversations. Mama David is actually apologizing. So she tells Mevkabet the story of her being cheated on. Mevkabet is really bad for her, and then she invites them to the birthday party. When she sits in her car and hears Nihat and Mevkabet talking about how, oh my god, this poor lady, she got cheated on, she got this sly smirk, and I was like, no. I was rooting for that moment. I was so hoping that she really meant that. Anyways, after Mama David drove away, Mevkabet was still very skeptical of her, and she also tells Sanem that she will go to the party, but if Mama David tries to humiliate them one more time, she won't forgive her. Sanem is quite shocked about the fact that Mama David actually apologized, and so is Can when Sanem tells him this whole situation. He's very skeptical and not really believing in Mama David's apology. So we get to the party. Sanem is actually guiding Can towards the living room where all his old university and school friends are waiting with Hulen. Can is all happy to see his old friends, and then he introduces Sanem, and one of them is like, do I know you? And Sanem is like, no, I don't think so. And then there's this back and forth, and Mama David is like, well, which university did you go to? And Sanem talks about that she studied about birds or something like that, that she really likes birds. And that's the moment where Mama David tried to humiliate Sanem in front of Can's friends, just to show that she's beneath them. But there's one guy who's actually very interested in birds and just saves the moment kind of. And then Can also says that she's very smart, she's an editor, blah blah blah. And there are many more moments during that party where Mama David tries to humiliate Sanem, especially when Sanem's parents come with Leila and they say that they came with the subway, and Mama David is like, well, the subway is too crowded. And then a couple of Can's friends say, well, I also use the subway because it's more convenient, blah blah. And she's all shocked, like, how can people go on the subway? Like, So this was another moment where she tried to humiliate them. Mevkabet actually picked up on that, and then Nihat gives Can the birthday present they got for him, and he opens it, and they got him 2 moonstones like the ones he had. And Mama David is like, well, I wouldn't have come up with that present, like 2 stones. And John's answer was amazing. He says, well, only people that know me, love me, know how much this means to me, and how could you know that? And then he asks to hug Mefkebe, Nihat and Leila. It was so sweet, and Mama David was not amused, like seeing that her plan is not really working out. And then Emre and all the people from the agency come, as well as Musa and Ayhan. And then JJ tells John that he wanted to come with a confetti cannon, but he didn't because John David is more sophisticated or something like that, and Musa actually comes with a cannon, and everyone gets really scared. And he also came with chikofte or something like that. And then Mama David is like, well, those are Sanem's friends, she brought them here, like kind of telling John's old friends that they don't belong in their circle. But a couple of John's old friends are like, oh my god, are these chief kofte? I really like them. And Mama David and Pauline are like, what is happening? Like, how did those people really like that food? And it was so funny. And then the cake comes. John thanks everyone for coming, Mama David for organizing that, and then Sanem gives John her present, and he's all excited and happy. And you can see Mama David and Pauline being like, oh. And Pauline saying, I think you should give up now. And Mama David is like, never, there's nothing serious between them. Then John says, well, I also have a gift. So I don't know if he was actually talking to Mama David, so like, thanks for organizing this, and now I have a gift for you, as in Sanem being her daughter-in-law, or was it talking to Sanem and saying thank you for the book, and now I have a gift for you, like an engagement ring? I'm not sure on that. Anyways, he turns around. As soon as I saw it, I started crying. I got so emotional. I loved that scene so much because John was turning around actually to Sanem's parents, and he has the ring box in his hand, and he's like doing this and looking at Nihat, and through his looks kind of asking for permission, and then Nihat just nods, and I was just crying. I was a crying mess in that moment. And then he turns around, proposes to Sanem, and she's all shocked. And then we got that look in the trailer. When I saw the trailer, I didn't know that Sanem's parents were there as well, so I thought she was looking at Mama David, but she was actually looking at her parents, especially at Nihat, and he was nodding his head, and she says yes, and they're engaged now, and I'm so happy. And that's the end. And now to Alex's predictions for episode 37. So I'm really excited to see how this party continues and how the story goes on. We got a preview where Janem is actually out having tea, whatever, and they're talking about wedding plans and for it to happen as soon as possible. I think we won't get a wedding that quickly, so I think there are at least 5 episodes till we get a real Janem wedding, at least. It can be more, maybe even the last episode of season 1. See what I did there? Because I'm hoping that Erkenci Kush will get a second season. So as of me filming this now, we sadly don't have a new trailer, so I can't really say anymore. I'm just saying what I hope is going to happen next. So I think Leila won't be able to tell Nihat and Mefkebe that she broke up. At the same time, she will start a secret relationship with Emre. What I thought was funny was when Emre came and he looked at Leila. Leila looked at him at Jan's birthday party, and Nihat and Mefkebe were like, why are you looking at him? You're with Osman, kind of, you know? Yeah, I think that's all I can say. I'm really sorry I can't say any more than that. Oh, I also saw some behind the scenes videos of a party they have in Sanem's neighborhood, and it's kind of a welcome spring party. I think that's going to happen in episode 37. And now I'm done with the things that I can say and predict for next episode. So yeah, that's all I can say. I hope I didn't forget to mention anything. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It will really mean a lot to me. Comment down below your thoughts on episode 36. If you loved it as much as I did, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already to see more Erkenci Kush reviews or videos that I do in general. Click that bell to be notified whenever I post something, and I will see you next time. Bye!